Welcome to lecture 1 on module 4 of computer organization, in which we will be discussing about the basic concepts of memory system along with the various registers that are associated in transferring the data between the memory and the processor, as well as the different types of memory that are associated with the processor. In this particular slide, we will be discussing about the memories. We know that the memory is one of the basic units of any computer system. All the programs as well as the data will be present in memory. When we speak about memory, it is a group of individual cells that can store, each cell can store one bit of information, and uh, in a single address you will have 8 such bits, or we can call as 8 cells grouped together to form a 1 byte of memory. So this 1 byte of memory will have one address. This is the basic knowledge we have. And when you write any program in a computer, it has to be, if the program is written in assembly language or higher language, it has to be converted into a machine language. What is the purpose of converting a program from the higher level language to the machine level language? Is because the machine language is comprises of ones and zeros, and this it is necessary to convert the higher level language to ones and zero format so that it can be stored in the memory. The program that you write will be converted into ones and zero format, and that format is called as machine level language, and it is then stored in a memory. From memory, the program is transferred to the processor, or the data is transferred to a processor to perform a particular task. The task will be decoded based on the sequence, based on the sequence of ones and zeros that will be transferred from memory to the processor. The processor will decode it, and it will understand what is the task it has to exactly perform. So mainly the importance of memory is to store the program, that can be either written in, the program may be written in higher level language, or it can be written in assembly level language, or it can be written in machine level language. Whichever format, the machine language equivalent code, that is in the form of ones and zeros, has to be stored in the memory so that it can be used for further processing by the processor. When we speak about a memory will have a location. Let me consider a 16 byte space, a 16 byte memory. I'll write it as 16 byte memory. Whenever I take a 16 byte memory, I will have 16 different memory locations. I can name it as 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 16 different memory locations I will have. So in order to address these 16 memory locations or 16 different locations, I should generate a unique address, and that address should be in binary format. So the address that you generate for a 16 byte location should be unique, and it should be in binary format. So the easiest way to generate uh, the address is representing this 16 different locations in binary. So if we want to represent it, it is if I write this 16 in powers of 2, then it becomes 2 power 4 equal to 16. That means I need 4 address lines, or the address ranges from 0000 to 1111. So by this way I can generate 16 different address. So this 4 indicates that, the power 4 indicates that it requires 4 address lines to address a 16-byte memory. That means if you have a 16-byte memory, if you want to store or retrieve any data from a 16-byte memory, you need a address bus which is of 4-bit size. Which is of 4-bit size. See, we need to clarify one thing, that is the address bus and the data bus are different. The data bus usually will be 8-bit. The data bus usually will be 8-bit. The data bus corresponds to the data that has to be stored inside the location. So the address specifies what is the location you are choosing, and the data is the one that gets stored in that location. So we, at the beginning, we need to clarify ourselves about the address and the data. So the number of address bits determine the maximum size of memory that can be interfaced to a processor. For example, if we take a processor with the 16-bit address, let us say in the example we had only 4-bit address. If we have a 16-bit address, let us assume that we have a 16-bit address bus. Then in that case, you need to represent it in 2 power 16. So the maximum size of memory that you can interface using 16-bit address lines is 64 kilobytes. So in order to interface 64 kilobytes of memory to any processor, then the number of address lines required is 16. Similarly, you can have 2 power 32. Then in that case, you can interface a memory with the size of 4 gigabyte. If you want to interface a memory with size 4 giga, then you need a 32-bit address lines to interface such kind of memory. So the number of locations represent the size of the address space of a computer. That means, see, in this case, the number of locations, here we have 16 locations. So these 16 locations represent the size of the address space. So there are total 16 addresses. So we can store 16 datas in a 16-byte memory, whereas in case of 64 kilobytes of memory, we will have 64 kilo, that is 64 into 1048. 64 into 1048 memory uh, memory locations. So you can have 64 into 1048 address, that is 64,048 different address you can have, or 64,536 something we will get. This is the number of memory locations that can be accessed, or that can be accessed when you have a address bus which is of 16-bit size. The main part here is each location has a capacity to store 8 byte of data, 1 byte of data, sorry, not 8 byte, 8 bit of data, or 1 byte of data, and each byte of data will have one address. So based on the number of locations you have, you need to generate so many address. In order to generate the address, you can represent the number of locations that are present in memory in the powers of 2, which will give you, the powers will give you the number of address lines that are required to interface that particular memory. In our previous slide, I said that we will have so many number of memory locations based on the size of the memory, and each location has a capacity to store 8 bit of information, or we can also call it as 1 byte of information, 8 bit or 1 byte. So In the same discussion, we also discussed that each byte will have one address. Each byte will have one address. That means if you have 16 locations, as I have already discussed in our previous slide, if we have a 16 byte size of memory, then you will have 16 locations which will store 16 into 8 byte 16 into 8 bit of information. Now each 8 bit or 1 byte will have one address, and this mode of addressing is called as byte addressable. So in case of byte addressable, individual byte will have one address. So these memories are usually designed to store and retrieve data in word length quantities. Now when I say word length, it depends on the processor. It depends on the processor. If processor can access 2 byte of information at a time, 2 byte of information at a time, then it can access data from 2 memory locations together. So in such cases, the processor will specify, processor need not specify the second address. If for example, if I consider the location of the first address as 000, when a processor wants to access 2 byte of information, in that case the processor need not specify the address corresponding to the next location, that is 0001. When the word length, or we also call it as n, we denote it as n, the word length will be denoted as n. When the n is 16 bits, then the processor will initiate the transfer by the first address 000. Then automatically the data that are present in 2 locations will be transferred to the processor. And these memories are specially designed to handle various word lengths. So the word length can be, it can be 8, it can be 16, it can be 32, or it can be 64. It purely depends on the size of the processor or the capacity of the processor. So here in the beginning I said that the data are stored in the memory that has to be transferred to the processor. Now how this transfer takes place? So here we also have corresponding registers that help the processor to transfer the data from the memory to the processor, or from processor to the memory. The data transfer takes place between, however, the address is initiated by the processor. The address is initiated by the processor, and the address is unidirectional. When I say unidirectional, the address is generated by the processor, whereas the data is bidirectional. The data can be transferred from the processor to memory, or from memory to the processor, whereas the address is transferred only from the processor to the memory. So here, in order to smoothly perform the operation of the transfer operation, we have two registers, that is MAR and MDR, memory address register and memory data registers. Here this memory address register holds the address of the location from where the data has to be accessed. The memory address register holds the address of the location of the memory location from where the data has to be accessed. Whereas in case of MDR, the data that is present in the location pointed by the address MAR is present in MDR. The data that is present in MDR, the data that is present in MDR is the correspond to the data that is pointed by MAR. For example, if I take 50H here, and I'll take the address as 0100, I randomly take that. Now if I want to access the data 50H from this memory location, the processor will load MAR with the value 0100, and meanwhile the as soon as MAR is loaded with this value, the MDR value gets this 50H gets reflected in the MDR register. So this MAR and MDR, they behave as a bridge between the internal and the external bus. Now in this slide, let us consider MAR is k bits long and MDR is n bits long. Now we need to be very clear about the k and n here. So n represents the size of data that will be stored in the memory. N represents the size of the data, whereas k represents the size of address. So if for example, if k is 10, then the size of the memory can be calculated as 2 power k, that is 2 power 10, that is 1048, that is 1 kilo. We usually call it as 1 kilobyte of memory. 1 kilobyte of memory. In order to interface 1 kilobyte of memory to a processor, we need 10 address lines. However, the size of the data here is 8. If n is 8, then the size of the data is 8. So here, during the memory cycle, the n bits of data are transferred between the memory and the processor. So here n is the size of the data. So one packet of n bits, a packet of n bit is transferred from the memory to the processor or from the processor to the memory during the memory cycle. The transfer takes place over the processor bus. In case of processor, we know that a processor and the memory are bridged using the bus. These are bridged using bus. So there are two types of bus. One is address bus and the data bus. Now the size of the address bus is k. The size of the address bus is k and the size of the data bus is n. That means if you want to interface 1 kilobytes of memory, then the size of k is 10, and if you want to transfer a 1 byte of information with a size 1 byte size of data has to be transferred, then n will be 8, and this is usually fixed. The size of the address bus and the data bus are fixed in case of any processor. Along with the address bus and the data bus, we have this bus also includes the control lines such as read or write and memory function complete for coordinating the data transfer. Other control lines may be added to indicate the number of bytes to be transferred. So we have address bus, we have data bus, as well as we have control signals. Here in this particular slide, all the discussions what we have done in the previous slide are represented in a diagrammatic way. Here we have a processor, we have the processor and the memory. So inside the processor you will have MAR and MDR registers are inside the processors. So here these are the bus, address bus, k bit address bus, n bit data bus, and the control signal, which includes read write bar, MFC, and there are many other signals that are associated with the processor and the memory. So here So when the address bus is k bit, that means the size of the memory is 2 power k. The size of the memory, whenever the size of the memory directly depends on k. Directly depends on k. What is k? K is the number of address bus. Similarly, the data bus tells or specifies what is the size of the data that can be transferred between the memory and the processor. This control signals, memory function complete and read write bar signals, indicates whether the processor has to read the data from the memory or it has to write the data to the memory. And MFC indicates whether the particular transfer has been completed or not. The data, the address that is initiated by the processor will be loaded to MAR, and MDR, in MDR, the data that corresponds to the location specified by MAR is loaded into MDR. From MDR, it will be received by the processor or other processor registers for further processing. Or similarly, when you transfer the data, the MAR will be loaded with the target address of the memory, and that particular data will be the data that has to be loaded to that particular memory location will be loaded into MDR register, and as soon as it is loaded to MDR register, it gets reflected on the data bus. So this data bus is directly connected to this memory through some signals that we will look into in our next module. This is how a transfer between the processor and memory can be represented diagrammatically. In this slide, we will discuss about the transfer of data from the memory to the processor. That means the processor will receive the data from memory. So in that case, whatever the data the processor wants to read, that particular address is loaded into MAR. So for example, if we have an address 500H and the processor wants to read the data that is present in 500H, let me consider some 20H is the data. From 20H is the data, 500H is the address. So now the processor, if the processor wants to read this data, it will load the location address into MAR register. MAR register will be loaded with 5000H. As soon as 5000H is loaded to MAR register, this 20H gets loaded into MDR register. 20 gets reflected in the MDR register. So before that, the read write control signal should be set to 1. 1 indicates the processor has to read and 0 indicates the write. Write means transfer of data from processor to memory. Read means transfer of data from memory to processor. So when the read write signal is set to 1, the memory responds by placing the data from the address location, that is the data that is present in MAR. Now MAR is having 5000H. Once the read write signal is set to 1, it indicates that the processor wants to read the data from the memory location 500H. So what the memory does is, memory responds by placing this 20H in MDR register into the data lines and confirms this action by asserting MFC, memory function complete. What it does is, in between the processor and the memory, there is a data bus as well as address bus. Whatever 500H, the memory location from which the data has to be accessed, that will be loaded into the address bus through MAR, and once it receives the signal to read the data from that particular memory, the memory responds by loading the content that is present in the address 500H into the data bus. So here When I say 8-bit data bus, you will have 8 different lines. You will have 8 different lines. This 20H is nothing but 0010 0000. So each bit is connected to one data bus. Each bit here is connected to one data bus. Each data bus. So based on the data, whether it is 1 or 0, the corresponding bus line is pulled high or pulled low based on the data. And this status that is present in the data bus is loaded into the MDR register once the MFC signal is received. This is how a transfer of data from the memory takes place, from memory to the processor takes place. Similarly, during the processor write, that is transfer of data from processor to memory, the memory location, the data into memory location by loading the address of the location into MAR. First, during the write, whatever the data during the write process, the data that is present in MDR, has to be loaded to the memory location pointed by MAR. This is how the write process takes place. Now, this is initiated by loading the address, target address into MAR register. That is done by the processor. And meanwhile, the content that has to be transferred to the memory location pointed by MAR is also loaded into MDR register. Next, this read write bar signal that is pulled low. That means when it is 0, it is write. Just opposite to the read operation, the read write bar signal has to be set to 0, and automatically the data that is present in MDR is transferred to the memory location pointed by MAR. If this is about the write, if the read or write operations involve consecutive address locations, if you want to transfer the data that is present in the address 000, 0001, 0010, and so on up to 1111. You want to transfer 16 bytes of data from the memory to the processor or from processor to the memory. In such cases, we have a block transfer operation where you need not mention the address of each and every byte. You need not mention the address of each and every byte. Instead, you just need to mention the starting address, and rest of the locations are identified automatically by the processor. The only address that has to be sent is the first location. Rest of the address will be identified by the processor itself. This method is called as the block transfer operation. The memory access may be synchronized using a clock, or they may be controlled by special signals, that is through the control bus. You can have a special signal, that is you can have a synchronous communication, or you can also have asynchronous mode of communication. In case of synchronous mode, you need to use the clock, whereas in case of asynchronous, you need to specify the signals to coordinate the transfer of data.